So, welcome to the India preview on the Shiny Side Cricket Podcast. And for that, we have with us as a guest today, Hadeel Obaid. Hadeel is an avid cricket follower and she writes about cricket on multiple publications like Cricinfo and Wisden. She is the founder of Halo Cricket, which is a platform that works for development of men's and women's cricket at the grassroots level. She's been a board member at the Sindh Cricket Association for a couple of years until recently. And she has been working in grassroots cricket for a long time. And I've personally seen her watch cricket matches at locations all over the world. So, Adil, welcome to the Shiny Side.
Hi, Fareez. Thanks for having me.
So, before we start, this is the India preview, right? They say for every cricket podcast, how well it does in India is the most important factor in how successful it is. So do you feel the pressure or you don't feel the pressure?
I don't feel the pressure. I think, listen, if you're going to preview India, you might as well embody their team spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that answer. So yeah, look, I think getting started with India, right? It's one of those things where I was just looking at some data, right? And since 2013, they have played 8 ICC knockout games and they have lost 6 of them. The only 2 they won is against Bangladesh.
Yes.
So can we start calling them chokers, or do we need to wait one more semi-final loss for that to happen?
What are you trying to do here, Fareez? That's the real question. No, India are by no means chokers. I think that, yes, they have been knocked out. But I think they tend to do well in ICC tournaments. They get to the semi-final stage. They'll get to a final stage, right? And that in itself has merit, and that in itself takes grit and will. You also have to understand that the last time they won a World Cup was in 2011. And so, I mean, 12 years, when you look at how often ICC tournaments are played and when you look at the difference between the different formats, it's not that much amount of time, right? You're talking about 2 World Cups in the middle, and now you have 2023.
Sure. But but if you look at the ODI, I guess there's a bunch of things, right? So there's T20 and ODI, they played 8 knockouts, only beaten Bangladesh twice, lost. Only finals they played is when they had Bangladesh in the semi-final, like the Champions Trophy against us. And then they played 2 World Test Championship finals, also lost both. So maybe they're not chokers, but clearly they have a problem converting to titles in an era where they all believe, and rightly so, that this is their time and they are the dominant side of this time. But I think they really could do with an ICC title to really substantiate that right now.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it also comes from the fact that Dhoni was the 2011 winning captain, right? And that was Captain Cool. And that was, your Sachin and your golden era. And that was what Indian cricket was about. And from there, they've only flourished, and they've done incredibly well in bilateral series, and they've done incredibly well throughout. I would say that for India to do well, they need to get one bad game out of the way in the group stage, get absolutely hammered, and then pick themselves back up. And then you'll find them winning the semi and potentially the final. But I think when you peak too early, you're going to have one bad game. And if that's going to come around your semi-final and your knockout stages, that's when things get tough.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think let's have a look at the squad, right? And it's one of those squads where, when we were having this chat earlier, right? Like, no matter where you look, you see some big names, you see a lot of runs. So where do you think, what do you think is what really sets them apart? What are the strongest thing you see here?
Oh my God, the Indian squad is like, you can make 2 teams. Like, it's so hard to understand, like, who are they going to drop? This is one of the strongest teams in the World Cup. I mean, Gill is like right now the sensational name. If you listen to the pundits and you listen to everybody, it's not Virat this time. It's not Babar. It's all Gill. That's all anybody is talking about. It's his time.
I think he's definitely the new king.
It's definitely his time. And it's almost unnerving because he's obviously not in our team. And so it's almost unnerving to see somebody like that and see the potential and their rise in such a short amount of time. And this burst of brilliance, it's amazing. I mean, for me, the question mark comes that does Surya Kumar Yadav now have a place in the squad, in the ODI squad? As a T20 player, nobody can take away his credentials. But as an ODI player, does Sky have a place in the squad?
Yeah.
Do you play Ashwin in all the games? Or do you play Ashwin in only the Chennai games? Because you know that that's more of a spinning wicket, right? And then how many pacers? What do you do? Who comes in for who? It's actually a very, very hard squad to have a playing 11 and to say, okay, these are the right 11. I think, and we're probably going to see this, India is probably going to rotate some players as the tournament goes along. It's also 9 group stage games, which is a lot.
Yeah, and until the Asia Cup, there were some question marks about the middle order with Shresh Iyer and KL Rahul being out of injury, but they both came back emphatically. And then in the same time, Ishan Kishan and Hardik Pandya also are in good form. So all of a sudden, they had some question marks, and all of them have been answered. I guess there is some questions around. I actually feel Akshar Patel's injury probably helped them, because I think the squad looks stronger with Ashwin rather than Akshar Patel. Because even though he's a pretty good batter for the spinner, his bowling has been fairly ordinary recently. So I feel like Ashwin coming in gives them some more real high quality spin option other than Kuldeep, of course.
I mean, and then there's Shardul Thakur also. I mean, you have so many people who are in there that, like, how does Rohit Sharma has a great problem on his hands. And that's kind of, I mean, Kuldeep Yadav, I remember being at the Candy game during the Asia Cup, and all the Indians were like, Kuldeep Yadav is literally in the squad for Babar Azam. Like, they were like, they knew that, like, this is his weakness. Kuldeep can, like, exploit it. And then we saw him rip through the Asia Cup. And now, again, is he their first choice?
I also remember him getting Babar out in the 2019 World Cup. So yeah, that's definitely why he's there. And if you look at the schedule quickly, India's, right? It's so India and England are two sides who seem to they have no consecutive games in the same location. So they're probably taking a flight every single time after every game. But I guess with India, they want their team to probably play all over the country. So that's probably why. But they start with Australia, which is, again, as good as it gets. Then they have Afghanistan, then they have Pakistan, Bangladesh. It seems like they have alternate games between the so-called stronger sides and then there's not so strong sides. Their last game is very conveniently against the Netherlands. So in case there's run rate issues, they can be taken care of.
You know what? I agree. But at the same time, I also think that our first game is against Netherlands. So if we hammer Netherlands, if Pakistan hammers Netherlands, you're seeing our net run rate from the get-go being exceptionally strong. And if you remember the 2019 World Cup, that was our biggest downfall, was the loss against the Windies. And had we not had such a bad loss, we probably would have made it. So, I mean, the World Cup is at home. Some advantages will always be served to the host team. Is it convenient? Yes. Do I hope it comes down to net run rate? Absolutely not. I hope for once in our life, we're not sitting in front of a table and praying for rain or DLS, or thinking if this team plays against this team, who will win. And India is generally quite clinical in their victories.
For sure. They don't normally have these NRR issues. Speaking of the side, right? So we spoke about, okay, how the hell do you make an 11 out of this? And I've actually put up the 11 you and I had in mind. I'm going to go with mine first, and then you can talk about yours. So mine is, again, I think Rohit, Gill at the top. Like we said, Gill is the new king. He's definitely, the top 3 are kind of set in stone. I've got KL Rahul there mainly because I feel like he's batted really well. They look at him as the guy they would want to play. So I think he will be there. I think one thing which I've done differently is I think the general conventional side, which they'll probably play, by the way, is yours. They'll probably play Shreyas at 5, but I wanted to do something different. I wanted to get Skyen in the lower order, especially after he did well against Australia in the last game. And I feel like Jadeja was somebody who they're really struggling to get the most out of, because when he comes in, he needs to hit from the outset. And he's somebody who actually needs a bit of time to get set. So given that they have absolutely no left-handers, if they don't have Ishan, I would personally play Jadeja at 5, Pandya at 6, and bring Sky at 7, which is actually a more suitable position for him. And then have Bumrah, Siraj, and Kuldeep. So that's my 11. You want to talk about yours?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you pretty much summed it up quite well, that Rohit, Gill, and Kohli, the top 3 we know are going to play. We know Pandya is going to play. It is possible that Jadeja comes before Pandya, and that Pandya can come one down, just in case Jadeja has a moment. I don't know whether his form has been as good as it can potentially be. But that's the thing about Jadeja, right? Like, when you kind of dismiss him, or you think, oh, he's not going to be that great, he just knocks it out of the park, and then you're left wondering. So I think that honestly, I would put Jadeja and then I would put Pandya, for the simple reason that I feel like Pandya is Captain Cool. I feel like he's embodied Dhoni's spirit. That man does never, ever, ever looks like he's under pressure. Like India could be like 9 wickets down and Hardik Pandya will come in and hit like 2 sixes and be totally calm and acting like he can take India over the line, which is exactly what you need in somebody in his position.
And he's the kind of guy you would really want in your team, like anybody would for that matter.
Exactly, right? I mean, it's not so much fun when you're the opposition, but I mean, would I sell my soul for Hardik Pandya on our side? Absolutely, because I think he brings so much with the bat and the ball, and it's almost like scary because you can't underestimate him in either department. He can take the game away in either, and we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen with our own squad. So I mean, looking at my 11, I think mine is probably going to trump yours, Faris.
I think yours is what they're going to go with. Whether it trumps mine or not, we'll never know. But
no, I think because look, the question is KL Rahul or Ishan Kishan, right? Ishan Kishan also played a very good Asia Cup, and then KL Rahul has the form of his life, so it's almost unfair to drop one for the other.
There's also one other difference.
I'm shocked to not see Ashwin in your squad.
So that's the thing, right? If their first thing is, this is actually a tricky thing India have in the 11, right? If they play Ashwin their tail becomes a bit long. And so that's why they actually have Shardul, and that's why they also had Akshar in this call, because they wanted a bowler who can bat a bit. I personally still feel like Ashwin at 8 is a stronger team overall. But knowing how India have been setting up their 11, they're going for an all-rounder at that spot right now. So that's why they like Shardul, because he can bat a bit, he can bowl a bit. And to be fair, he doesn't look like it, but his record with the ball is not bad.
I honestly don't know much about Shardul Thakur, except for whenever I've seen him and read up a little bit. But obviously, we all know Ashwin, we know what he's capable of. So I feel like perhaps in big matches, specifically India's opening campaign in Chennai, I do think they probably will go with an Ashwin over Shardul.
And keep in mind that he wasn't even in the squad till Akshar Patel got injured, right? So this is definitely the last World Cup for him also. So
oh, absolutely. I also think it's a bit scary, right? The wild card.
Yeah.
The minute the entry comes in the 11th hour, I mean, this is it for him.
So what do you think are the odds of Ashwin doing a Mankat in the World Cup?
Oh, I think this is going to be the World Cup where you're going to see a lot more.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's because now you've kind of destigmatized it, or they're trying to. The fact that it's officially and out, the ICC has been trying to normalize this sort of dismissal. And at the end of the day, you might give the team a lot of slack for spirit of cricket. But honestly, if it's a pressure situation and your bowler is aware and he mankats somebody, that's probably a victory in so many different ways. The idea that a batsman should somehow get halfway down the line or a couple of feet ahead and get an advantage, but a poor bowler the game is already stacked against him, let's be honest, especially in India with like highway pitches. Okay, you're like really toiling for those 50 overs. If you get any opportunity to take a wicket, why would you not take it? Like, who cares about this? The spirit of cricket is not giving you a trophy.
The only question I have is, even people who say it's fine, you should do it, they never do it in the 5th over of the day. They only do it right in the end when the match is about to end. So It's one of those things where I feel like it's people still, even the ones who say they want to do it, I think there's an element of guilt that comes in. So at the beginning of the day, they give the guy a warning and move on. But when the game is really on the line, that's when they do it. You never see a Mankat first up in the game.
You're absolutely right, but it might change now. And I do think we're going to start seeing things change. I mean, we did see that game with Bangladesh and New Zealand where, Ish Sodhi was called back, which in my opinion, I was like, what, this is not, street cricket. Like this is a bit wild.
Yeah.
But having said that, you know what, if Shaheen Afridi or Haris Rauf did it, or if Shadab or somebody did it, I would be so proud of them that like you're aware that the batsman is trying to take advantage. So you used it to your advantage. That is a good player. That is good cricket. And it needs to stop becoming such a moral issue.
That's their job, right? That's their job, to win games for the country.
All's fair in love and cricket, Farees.
There's a lot of talk about whether this is the last real ODI World Cup, whether the format will even matter 4 years from now. There's even some talk on some podcasts about, they were saying if India wins this, that's the excuse they have to end the format forever. They're like, it's done. We've solved this and now we can move on to T20 and test matches. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so before we wrap up, I would love your prediction on where do you think India will end up?
Finalists.
Did you say losing finalists or finalists?
I said finalists. I can't predict, obviously, the win. Do I see India losing in the final? Yes, I do.
So you are saying they will...
I think it's a pressure game. I think there's so much pressure.
They'll beat someone other than Bangladesh in an ICC knockout after 10 years. That's what you're saying, basically.
I know what you're doing, Farees. But I think India are going to do very well at home. I think they like everybody's good in their backyard. And I think that they're fantastic. I not just see that we saw them in Sri Lanka. We saw them absolutely hammer a lot of the oppositions. We saw them right now in the little warm-up kind of a series that they had with Australia. They are a force to be reckoned with. Do I see India going home with a trophy? Probably not. And the only reason why I say that is because I feel like the pressure this time around, best league in the world, best everything, all this money, BCCI, so much pressure. I feel like as a team, something's got to give. And and don't get me wrong, I love watching the Indian team as well. I think they're fantastic. They're a lot of fun. But I do think that like it's probably going to be not an Asian nation, some other nation that's probably going to win this World Cup.
Interesting. In 2011, the last World Cup that was there, they had 3 Asian sides in the semis. India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. I don't think that's going to happen this time around, which mainly is about how Sri Lanka's playing. But
they just got hammered by Afghanistan.
Yeah, interesting. So I think, my prediction on India is, look, if I had to put money on one team making it to the semis, definitely India. After that, to be honest, is anyone's guess, right? Once you're there, anything can happen. So yeah, maybe.
I'm sorry if somebody's already asked you this question, but what are your 4 semi-finalists?
I haven't actually thought of that fully, but I would say India and England for sure. Yes. And then most likely Australia and Pakistan. Is there an element of support kicking in, possibly, but that's how I see it. I don't see Pakistan finishing higher than 4, but hopefully 4.
I don't see us making the finals either. And the only thing is, I'm wondering if New Zealand will take the spot for Australia. And that is my own, because New Zealand are clicking at a great time. And so that's my only question mark in my head is Australia and New Zealand. But let's see. Do you think that India are going to make it to... do you think India can win this World Cup? Do you think they have the firepower to win it? I
feel like they have the fire. They've had more firepower than they've had maybe even since Dhoni's team. But having said that, Dhoni's team was a lot more about having the right kind of leader. I don't know if they have that right now. So I would probably expect them to make it to the last 4 and not win it. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
And just one last thing before we wrap up. There's a bit of a quiz question here for you to answer. There's 5 pictures, 5 players' names and Insta followings of 5 of them. You have to guess which is which. Who has the highest Instagram following? Who's second? Who's third? Who's fourth? Who's fifth?
Good Lord, I'm quite terrible at this. Okay, Virat Kohli will be 259 million. Can you say yes or no? Oh wait, are you not going to tell me? Okay. Shabnam Gill has 4.7 million.
Okay.
Okay, wait. I might have taken that back. Ishan Kishan has 4.7 million. Hardik Pandya has 30 million. Who else is there? Rohit Sharma has 27 million.
And that leaves 8 million, which you're saying
is to Shubman.
No, sorry, 8
right?
says Shubman. That leaves Ishan with 4.7.
Yes.
Okay.
How off am I?
So you've got 3 of them right. Rohit and Pandya are the other way. But to be honest, when I thought of this, right, I didn't realize Kohli would be so far ahead of the others. Like, I get his Kohli, but with Shubman coming in and these new kids on the block being super Insta savvy, like Ishan and Pandya, etc. I thought they may be closer to Kohli, but clearly Kohli's in a league of his own.
Oh no, listen, Kohli's in a league of his own. But also, I am shocked that Hardik Pandya has fewer followers than Rohit Sharma. Like, I don't really consider Rohit Sharma that cool a dude.
Also,
but like
I don't even think Rohit
Pandya
Sharma
is
would be active on. I don't know. I haven't really seen him on social.
I haven't, I agree. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
So I get it. That's why I was quite sure. But I guess the captain of the Indian cricket team, right? Wait, how many followers does Babar Azam have? I've never even.
It's a good question. That'll be something for the next podcast or record.
You need to ask the next person that.
Yeah, I should. But good stuff, Adil. Thank you for taking the time out. It was a pleasure, and hopefully we'll have you again at some point in the World Cup.
Take care.
Bye-bye. And for those of you watching, if you like the video, please like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you soon.